Japan lost everything in World War II. No resources, no money, no advantage. But 15 years later, it became one of the most disciplined and powerful nations on Earth. This didn't happen by accident. External support played a role. But the real difference came from how they thought and worked every day. They had methods and systems that made discipline feel almost effortless. In this video, I'm going to show you 5 Japanese principles that quietly rewire how discipline works, so you stop relying on motivation and start finishing what you begin. You'll learn why 60-second actions beat massive goals, why most people fail before they even start, and the one principle I ignored for years until it completely changed my life. Kaizen, the power of micro steps. Kaizen means change for the better, but its core is continuous, incremental improvement. Imagine getting just 1% better every day. By the end of a year, you won't just be 365% better. Thanks to the law of compound interest, you'll be 37 times better. Kaizen is the art of making a challenge so small that your mind can't say no. Japanese discipline understands that the hardest part isn't the journey. It's breaking the inertia of that first second. Imagine you want to read more, but you're stuck at 1 book a year, or perhaps none at all. The problem is the approach. Trying to force 50 pages in one sitting leads to fatigue and eventual burnout. Before you know it, another goal is abandoned. But with the Kaizen principle, you take tiny steps and gradually improve. How about 4 pages a day? Just that. Sounds ridiculous, right? But if you stay consistent, in 1 year, you'll have read 1,095 pages. That's about 4 full books. No effort, no heroic discipline required. When Japan was leveled in 1945, they didn't try to rebuild everything at once. They made small, daily, constant adjustments in every factory, every office, every school. And within 15 years, it had built one of the strongest economies on the planet. The question is, where are you trying to do too much at once? What would be your 4 pages a day? But there's a problem that kills Kaizen before it even starts. Have you ever tried to start a new routine and just froze? You want to be productive, but the visual clutter around you creates a constant, invisible weight. Every unfinished task in your line of sight competes for your attention until you're too overwhelmed to move. This friction is what the Japanese call environmental static noise, and they solve it through a radical concept called Danshari. Dan means refusing what isn't necessary. Sha is the act of throwing away what no longer serves you, and Rai is detaching yourself from the desire for excess. In the West, we're conditioned to believe discipline is about adding. In Japan, mastery comes from removing. They understand something modern science has only just confirmed. Your environment is a mirror of your mind. If your physical space is a maze of useless stuff, your brain wastes energy processing every single object, even if you don't realize it. Every pile of paper is an open tab in your mental browser, draining your battery. Take a moment to look at your environment right now. Maybe it's your desk, a cluttered drawer, or even the endless tabs open in your browser. I invite you to find just 3 things that no longer serve you, that you don't use, or that simply distract you. What if you let them go? Small shifts like these are exactly how you begin to practice Danshari. Notice how your mind feels a small bit of visual relief. That's your brain reclaiming space and organization. When you clear a space, you clear a path for action. Discipline requires clarity, and clarity requires space to focus on what's important. But even after you simplify everything, there's an inevitable moment where you'll want to quit. That's where Gaman comes in, often translated as patience or perseverance. Its real meaning is enduring the unendurable with dignity. It's the inner strength that allows the Japanese to rebuild entire cities after earthquakes without complaining. Gaman is the soul muscle you train every time you decide to finish a hard task instead of looking for a shortcut. In Japan, this starts in the cradle. When a child falls and starts to cry, it's common to hear parents say just one word, Gaman. They aren't asking the child to ignore the pain. They're teaching them that the pain doesn't need to become a spectacle. Gaman affirms your capacity to finish what you started because true strength doesn't need an audience. It needs your ability to stay standing when everything else tells you to quit. Discipline without resistance is worthless. Boring and exhausting moments are inevitable. The question isn't how to avoid the difficulty. The question is, do you have enough Gaman to keep going when everything else tells you to stop? To keep that resistance from becoming too heavy a burden, you need a mindset that clears the stress of the effort and makes your progress feel lighter. This is where Shitsuke comes in. Shitsuke is the practice of maintaining the standard. While Kaizen gets you started and Gaman keeps you going, Shitsuke is what makes discipline permanent. It is the commitment to never let your progress slide backward. Most people fail because they treat discipline as a temporary project. They push hard for a week and then let their environment and habits decay. Shitsuke is the refusal to accept that decay. It's the daily audit of your own behavior, the routine of returning to your base standards every single day until effort is no longer required. Shitsuke teaches you that the seed of change is already inside you. You just need to water it every day. It's about one decision at a time, one habit at a time, with the kindness of someone who knows that consistency is more powerful than brute force. Real discipline isn't a battle you win once. It is the infrastructure of a life where excellence has become the only option. But be careful. Discipline without respect is just a form of tyranny against yourself. The concept of Rei teaches that mastery starts with posture. It's not about etiquette rules. It's about the value you give to what you do and the time you dedicate to it. In Japan, simple gestures carry absolute intention. The way a master holds a tool, or how an apprentice cleans the floor, reveals their level of discipline. You might think these details don't matter, but they are the foundation of everything. When you treat every small task With the seriousness of a ritual, the quality of your focus changes. Discipline stops being an outside demand and becomes a matter of personal honor. You stop doing things halfway just to get rid of them. If you read, read with presence. If you're going to cook, cook with attention. You don't finish a task because you have to. You execute it with excellence because you respect your time and the life you're living. Ultimately, Ray shows you a simple truth. The dignity of who you are shows through in the quality of what you do. These 5 principles converge into a single truth, where the quality of your life reflects the respect you give to your smallest actions. Discipline exists as an act of self-honor. When you treat your routine with the intention of a ritual, your entire world transforms. You require the Gaman to remain standing and the Ray to validate the process. Real discipline inhabits the quiet force that remains long after motivation evaporates. It is the standard you set for yourself when no one is watching. Build your path through every micro step and watch the impossible gradually become your new normal.